Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of One for the Table. I am your host, Kimchi.
And I'm John Kang.
What?
I said I'm John Kang.
So, we took like the last couple of weeks off because I've been on tour.
Uh-huh.
And I'm a very busy person.
And I'm less so, but it's okay.
But now that I'm back well, I leave tonight, but but now that I'm back in home just for like a second.
Yeah, so what is the situation? You're back in LA for like 10 minutes? Where did you just get back from?
So I got back from Australia.
Oh, how was that? Where in Australia?
So it was for Work the World tour, and we went to Perth, Adelaide, Brisbane, Canberra, Sydney, Melbourne. So basically like all the major places.
Did you get to eat in Melbourne? Because I hear the food there is really good.
Yeah, but we actually spent like the least amount of time in Melbourne, so there wasn't too much time to do anything.
So
Most of our off days was actually in Adelaide. Luckily, our hotel was like right in the middle of like their Chinatown.
Oh, nice.
Or like their like Asian area. Right outside the hotel, it was just like all these different like amazing Asian food. And then also there was like a huge like food market. This giant building filled with a bunch of different like restaurants, grocery stores, like businesses that are all like food related. I guess it's like their like historic market. Every meal in Adelaide was really, really good. The last few times I was in Australia, like I didn't really have good experience with the food. So in my head, like Australia is this place that has like terrible food.
Oh,
But actually having like off days and actually like going to choose my own food and not like by some like random person who's not a foodie trying to like feed us, actually like choosing my own food. Yeah, there was actually a lot of good food there.
it is very interesting when you travel, what other people's idea of the food. It's not even like when you travel somewhere and then you're like being taken around by a local. Oftentimes they don't take you to places that they like to eat. They take you to places that they think you'll like to eat.
Yes, absolutely. Like when I was in Brazil, for some reason, for every single meal, they'll take me to like eat at a buffet. And I mean, buffet meals are fine, but just after a while, I was just kind of like really tired of eating like the same old food that was like room temperature.
Yeah.
So I asked the promoter like, please, I did not want to eat at a buffet like for like this meal. Can we please go anywhere else like that's not a buffet? And then for some reason, he still took me to a buffet. And then I asked, what's your favorite meal? And he's like, oh, I love McDonald's. I was like, okay, well, let me rephrase that. Like, where do locals like to go eat? And he's like, well, locals eat at home. I'm like, oh shit. Well, are you gonna invite me to your home? Like, that doesn't really help me.
Where in Brazil were you?
Rio.
You'd think there'd be a lot of good food in Rio. Rio's so big.
That's the whole thing is besides the point.
Oh, okay.
But that's when I realized, like, a lot of people aren't foodies, so you can't expect. Just because like you ask a local doesn't mean you're going to get like a recommendation that's like stellar.
That's true.
And even at like restaurants, like before like I was asked the server, like how do you feel about this dish and blah blah blah. And sometimes like they're able to like steer you like the right way.
Mm-hmm.
But then you also have to realize like a lot of people who are servers aren't actually like food people themselves.
Yeah.
Especially like the ones that are like, I'm just like an actor. I'm like working this job, like to get by until like the next gig or something.
If somebody were to ask you, like, where is a good place in LA for me to have dinner, do you like consider the person, or do you just like send them to a place that you think that you like for them at that time?
So whenever anybody asks me for recommendation, this is what I do. First, I ask them, do you want something that's Eastern or Western? And then when they say like Western, I'll narrow it down to, do you want something like American or like European or, or if they say like Eastern, I'll say like, Is there like a specific like Asian country that you like? And then when they name something like, let's say like, oh, like I love Japanese, then I'll say, so are you looking for something like a sushi ramen, like or like a traditional Japanese experience, or do you want more of like a modern Japanese, or like upscale? And if they say like, oh, I want something like just a little bit like nicer, but like not too fancy, but also like something exciting, then just things like that. But I feel like asking someone whether they want something Eastern or Western just already like narrows like half the cuisine down.
That's a really good starting point. That is a very good tip.
And then asking, like what tier of like experience they're looking for, like really narrows it down to after that.
Fancy or not fancy, decadent versus healthy. Yeah, there's so many things that you can do to like narrow down options.
And also another like my hack like to find restaurants when I'm travel is actually using TikTok.
Ooh, yeah.
Like all you have to do is like type in like whatever town you're in, like let's say like Brisbane, and like restaurants. Ton of like stuff will pop up, and obviously like some content. Obviously, like every like food like reviewer is like different. Obviously some are like influencers just getting like paid or like sponsored,
Yeah.
but you can easily like tell which ones those are. But at least like this way, you actually get to see like the videos of the restaurants and like videos of the food, and then you can determine whether you want to like go to that place or not.
Yeah. It's a lot harder to like fake good looking food on a video than it is on a photograph. And you can always tell the influencers who are like paid by the place because they all sound like that girl who went to Carbone.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about this place.
Hmm.
If you can't get a table here, you might as well kill yourself. Like
They had the best ravioli I've ever had.
yes, they all have the exact same inflection. The pasta
And
Alfredo was to die for.
you cannot leave without trying their like Moscow Mule. I was like, bitch, like Moscow Mule, like shit same everywhere.
Oh, why is I just like why is that? Why is that a voice that you want to emulate? Nobody is convinced. Like,
Literally.
oh my god. Oh, we should do all of our food reviews like that. Oh my god, that's so good.
Today I went to this K barbecue, and if you're not getting the short rib, you might as well pack your stuff and go back to Korea.
Oh my god, yeah.
But
That's
anyways,
great.
so yeah, so I had pretty good food in Australia. If there's like one thing that I realized like on touring though, so I love like educating people and like like teaching people like when it comes to like food that they haven't had before. But then after a while,
You just want to enjoy yourself.
there is a point where it does get exhausting, and on my day off where I just want to rest and like nourish myself and not feel like I have to be like almost like a concierge or like a
Or
guide.
hold someone's hand. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Because for some reason, if you're like a known like foodie or food person,
yeah.
everyone kind of like expects you to like literally be their concierge, even in like places like you haven't been or like
Right.
places you don't know well. So like you could be in like random town and everyone's like, "What are we eating tonight?" And I'm like, "I don't know." Like you're an adult,
And
figure
then
it
like
out.
even if you don't really care, I mean like you're the type of person like if you're with somebody, you would want them to have a good time whether or not like you truly care or not. Like you still want everyone to have like to be in a general good mood if we're all eating together. But like it is really frustrating because it is that extra added little bit of stress that you feel obligated to make sure that everybody is like enjoying themselves in some way, whether you feel like it is your job or not. So like if it's just difficult.
Yeah. And again, like like when I'm like working all these days and on my day off, sometimes I just want to like go to a restaurant and sit back and relax and just like have a good time. But then again, like when you like unintentionally like become like a concierge, somehow you become like responsible for picking the restaurant and then organizing like time up to dinner, and then gathering everybody together. With you don't want to see half these people anyway.
Yeah. We get random DMs from people asking for restaurant recommendations.
Yes, I'm like that. I don't mind. Like if I know the town or if I like the place really well, like I'd recommend it.
I do
But I think
too.
it's like another thing to do that like on off day on tour.
Mm. I do too, and it's usually to a town that I've like never been to before, so I don't really know what to say. It's like you Google it, I guess.
Do you even know the restaurants in like Michigan all that well?
I mean, I do most of the cooking. I mean, like I do know I have some restaurants that like are like surefire hits that I send people to. Um, but like it really depends on what a person's preference of food is. Because like if I ask like, oh, do you like Western or Eastern, or like, do you like Asian food or Westernized food, and they say Asian, I was like, oh well,
You cook Asian for the home.
yeah. Then I was like, I guess I'm making you dinner then, because there are some good ones, but it's like not, especially if I consider where they live. Like if someone's from Los Angeles or New York or Toronto or something like that, where I'm just like, I don't really have a recommendation that like that is either interesting or not enough, or that you can't get better over there right now. It's still the Midwest, and like a lot of times I'll be like, hey, do you like Eastern or Western food? And they like I like Asian food. I was like, do you have a passport on you? Because it's in Windsor. The better Asian food is in Windsor, and you have to cross the border to get there. It's only 15 minutes from my house, but yeah, it's still that much work.
You mean Detroit isn't like bustling with like a vibrant Asian food scene?
Not so much. I can't really say that.
At least you have a Meat Fresh.
We do. They closed.
What?
It didn't close. They like it was a Meat Fresh, and then now it's something else that serves the exact same thing, but it's called something different.
Also, they probably changed owners and they didn't want to like pay like the franchise fee or something. I don't know. Something
I
along
bet
those
you that
lines.
is exactly what happened. I mean, like that's the thing though. Like, we have really good ingredients, and we have all the components that you need for really good Asian food. Like I learned that, and I was shocked when I learned that it was easier for me to get Chinese groceries than a lot of people in like New York and stuff who don't live in Queens. But that being said, it's still like we don't have the expertise here. We don't have like the community that stayed and continued to perpetuate their art.
Well, they should all move to LA.
Maybe no, that's the problem. I think most of them did move to LA
Oh.
way back when.
See, that's how I feel about like steakhouses. If someone asked me like, where's like a good steakhouse, I could not tell you.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like I could tell you like what famous steakhouses are,
Mm-hmm.
but like I don't know. I don't ever go to like steakhouses.
See, that's funny because I could point you, if you asked me like for a good steakhouse, I could tell you like probably three. I could give you three steakhouses in Detroit that are like really good, that are really good. It was like, do you want modern? Do you want something that's classic? Do you want like old Americana where like Frank Sinatra used to be, and like you would have a really good steak with a really nice martini? Like I could do that here, but I just can't do Asian food with a full conscience. Yeah, unless you've like never experienced Asian food before, in which case it's like, oh, I have something that I can tell you places that are pretty good.
Oh, also like date loungy places. Also, cannot tell you.
Places to bring a date.
Like if you ask me like where to take like a sexy date for like a nice little bite and like a martini, I cannot tell you at the moment.
See, I could tell you that too. It's actually one of the steakhouses is that place because it's really dark.
Must be nice though having a significant other to have date nights with, huh?
For me, date nights are at home. Yeah, I won't lie. It's nice.
My tears dry on their own. God. So when was like the last time we talked? Like what city was I in?
I think you were in Japan.
Oh, okay. So I also went to Taiwan and Singapore.
Oh my God, how was it? Was
Oh
it
my
so
god!
good?
So I mean, obviously Taiwan. Like I don't even have to say it, but like the food, chef's kiss.
Best. So good.
De- Definitely got the black pepper bun.
How many did you eat?
I just had two, and then obviously went to the night market, and obviously like got our old favorites like intestine noodle, like tanghalu, oyster pancake, yada
Did
yada
you get the
yada.
ice cream thing?
No, so the ice cream thing. Oh my god. So the ice cream thing was towards like the end of the night market.
Uh-huh.
And when I was like just approaching, the lady was just closing up the shop, and I'm like, "No, can I please buy one?" And she's like, "No, I'm done." And she like waved her hand at me, and I was like, "It's barely 10 p.m.
Fuck you. I'm done
Like,
slinging cilantro peanut ice cream.
I've waited my whole life for this." Rude AF.
Who was the one that slowed you down?
I mean, no. I mean, I slowed myself down by like going around to all these different booths and eating.
Oh, see, you have to hit your favorites first.
Yeah, but it's like it's like a night market I haven't been before, so
Oh, I
like I don't
see.
know where anything is. So
Yeah,
everything was
yeah,
like new as I was like walking down and finding these things.
yeah. Anyone that was particularly fun to be there with?
Oh, so my favorite drag queen I like realized was actually Evie Oddly,
She seems like she'd be pretty adventurous and like down to try stuff.
and she's just like so down to try everything. And like a lot of people like ask me for recommendations, and after I tell them, they don't ever follow up with it.
Mhm.
They're like, oh, "Okay, cool, thank you," and then they don't go do things.
Yeah,
But like, if you would ask me for recommendations, if I told her, she'll go do all of them.
that's awesome. Did you go to the salmon place?
I didn't go to the salmon place, but I did go to the fish market twice.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
So a Korean tour loves seafood. And last time we were in Work the World in Taiwan, I took her to the fish market and she fell in love that like we went back again.
Who did you say?
Aquaria.
Oh, Aquaria. Okay, okay. I didn't hear. I thought you said Corey. I was like, I have no idea.
Oh
So
no.
that is.
So then this time when we went back to Taiwan, we went to the fish marketplace twice again. Because we love it
Um,
that much.
Nice.
And it was really really good. We got so much sushi each time, and then they had these little skewers of like wagyu beef that just literally melted in her mouth like the moment it touched it. And she ended up getting like 10 of them because she loved it so much.
That's awesome. She's so tiny too. Good for her.
Yeah, yeah. So I think the store I like the most fun with Aquaria and Evie Oddly.
Nice. What's the next leg of your tour? What's after this?
There's no. I mean, there's next like, but I'm not on it.
Oh, so what are you going to New York for?
Gigs.
Oh, you just got a
'Cause
bunch
I
of
have
gigs
gigs
in New York.
outside of the tour.
Oh yeah, but yeah, I knew that, but like I had in my calendar that you're just in New York for like a big stretch of time, so I'm just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're done.
Oh, I'm done with the tour. Yeah.
Congratulations for finishing.
Thank you. On the show day in Taiwan, they ordered bobas for us, and then Taiwanese fried chicken. Okay, but this actually made me mad. One of the drag queen, I'm not gonna say her name. We're like all eating the fried chicken like delicious and things, and she comes out and she's like what is all this shit? Like I need real food, and we're like, this is like Taiwanese fried chicken. It's really good, and she's like, that chicken is fucking gray. I was like, first of all, it's called dark meat, like dark meat of the chicken.
Yeah.
And also, like, this is the person who eats like McDonald's like every meal.
Oh God.
So, like, if you don't have like a basic like appreciation for like an actual fried chicken, like I don't know, like
Right.
you
There's
don't
no
deserve to
helping
like
you.
comment on it. And also, like, don't look at the food that someone is like eating and like and make a negative comment
Yeah.
about it when we're like clearly enjoying it.
Yeah. That is actively yucking someone's yum as they are enjoying it is just like it's giving like lunchbox trauma. It's literally like like grade school bullying. It's like you're just making fun of something that somebody else likes right in front of them, and it's rude. It is rude. It is
And
rude.
no one is like forcing you to eat it.
Yeah. It's giving like, what's that?
And also speaking of another trauma, after the Japan show,
Mhm.
for the meal after, they got us burgers from McDonald's. But it wasn't just burgers, it was like random McChickens and then like 40 McNuggets and like three things of fries that was like supposed to be like shared among like all the drag queens.
You know, somebody like brought the promoter to the side and specifically was like, we want McDonald's. We want burgers. We're done like eating Asian food. It must have been like a personal request.
And what made the whole experience even grosser is like when I went, I don't know who this fucker was, but like someone opened up like every single burger because I'm sure they're like, oh, what's in here? What's in here? Like
Yeah,
they have
yeah.
opened up like the wrapper to every single burger. So it's
So
just like, oh, I feel like I'm like touching a burger
it,
that like someone's already like ran through, you know? Like with their like unwashed like sweaty hands after the show.
yeah. Oof. Still has like makeup on it.
Yeah. So I skipped it and then I just went to the 7-Eleven, which Japan 7-Eleven has like fierce food.
You can get like a nice onigiri.
Yeah. And then also like the egg salad sandwich is so fire.
Yes. The egg salad sandwiches from 7-Eleven are actually like mysteriously delicious. It's
I
like
don't know what they
that
put in there.
I don't I MSG. I bet
MSG.
you. Yeah, it has to be. It's just so good. It's just so good.
And then the Manila show was
Was that canceled?
it got canceled because there was like a typhoon or something.
Yeah, where were you during the typhoon? Because that like it was like a signal 10, which is like the highest you can go in Hong Kong while you were in Asia.
Damn.
Like there was blowing buildings back and forth.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So we got to spend extra days in Taiwan before we got to go to Singapore.
Um,
And Singapore was also really great too.
Singapore's got great food. It's really hot there, but it's the food there is some of the best in the.
You know, Singapore wasn't as hot as Japan, surprisingly.
Oh,
I mean, like Singapore's like still hot, but like when I got there, and I'm like, I can actually like walk around and be fine, as opposed to like Japan. Like the moment like I stepped outside, I was like drenched in sweat right away. Like everything was soaked.
what did you eat in Singapore?
So in Singapore, during the meet and greet, one of like the fans gave me like a letter, and I read it, and he said like, oh, I'm a like huge foodie, and you know I would love to take you on like a food tour if you want. Like, so please message me. And then I had like the day off in Singapore the next day, so I was like, you know what? Let me message him, see what he says. And I was like,
Yeah.
hey, if you're serious about like taking me on a food tour, you know, like I actually am interested. Um, so then we arranged to meet up, and next day he came to the hotel, and he brought a giant pandan chiffon cake that his
Oh
mom made. I
my
guess his
God,
mom was on
sounds
Master
amazing.
Chef Singapore.
What?
So then she made us all these treats for us, and then she made youtiao, which is Chinese donut
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that was filled with shrimp.
What?
It was so good. And then also like these dumplings. So one of the dancer, Laganja, and I,
Banana.
we ate all that, and then he took us to like a really famous place that does, you know, your yukbang,
Yeah, Yopan. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like the steamed beef stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was like a yukbang with salted fish,
Oh, hell yes. That is
and it was
really
really,
good.
really good.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. My mom likes it made that way, except I have a really hard time finding salted fish, so I can't really make it, but it's so good. Oh, good
You could
job.
probably make your own salted
Good
fish.
place. I have no time. I don't have the time for that.
You have time. You're a chef.
I know I know.
Make
Busy.
it a content. You know, teach us how.
Do you want me to make some so you can have some when I'm in LA next?
You can salt a fish. You know how to salt a fish. You have the time. You can salt a fish. If you have time to make a master stock, you have time to make a salted fish.
I haven't made Master's Doc in a really long time.
Well, winter's coming.
I've just been so busy.
You're not even working on your book anymore. You have time.
I've been working on book tour stuff.
Oh yeah, that'll do it. Okay, you're busy. I guess you won't be salting the fish.
Won't be something for anytime soon, unfortunately.
Oh, but anyways, continuing with the food tour.
Yes,
Sorry to get
yes,
distracted.
keep going.
So then he took us to like another area where it's like predominantly Indian and Middle Eastern.
Uh,
So there's like a lot of like Indian restaurants and all that like stuff. And then he took us to this like one area where it was like a bunch of like outdoor food court. And then from there, I don't know what this thing is called, but it was so unique. So it was like a donut, but then inside of the donut was filled with anchovies and oysters and peanuts.
so was it sweet on the outside, or was
No,
it
it
just
wasn't
like a
sweet.
choux pastry? It was like a pastry.
It wasn't even like a
on the
choux
outside.
pastry. It was like a chewy donut kind of a thing, but it was crispy on the outside. And inside it was like really moist. You're filled with oysters, peanuts, and anchovies.
Interesting.
It was so unique, but it was really, really good.
Hopefully, somebody listening and can tell us.
Yeah, please tell us this mysterious dish in Singapore, like what this is.
Yeah.
And then we drank sugarcane juice.
I mean, you can get that in LA, but it's still so good.
Yeah. Also, like when it's like so hot and you've been like walking
When
around
it's-
all day.
yeah. Sugarcane juice hits different when you've just been like walking around sweating all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we ended the fabulous night eating at some really good Indonesian restaurant.
What did you have? I love Indo food.
I had him order for us, and
I love-
it was like we literally ate so many different dishes.
But
I'll make a TikTok about it.
yay.
So look for
I
the
want to see
update.
it. I want to see everything.
Yeah, I just haven't put the videos together.
I know, like, it's Indonesia. When it comes to like Indonesian food, I know like nasi goreng is just so common and so like, but it's still like one of my favorite things to eat for breakfast because it's still like sunny side up egg on fried rice with all of that stuff. Ah,
What I like more is nasi lemak.
the noodle one.
No, nasi
La-
lemak is coconut rice with a protein, like it can be like a fried chicken or like beef rendang
Well-
or usually like something of that sort with peanuts, sambal, and cucumbers.
Always with the cucumbers. I
and
love that
anchovies.
they serve that. Yeah. I'm looking it up.
Nasi
Nasi
lemak.
Oh, yeah, that is really good.
It's really, really good. And then I definitely had kaya toast in Singapore as well, which is very good. Have you ever had kaya toast? So it's kaya jam, which almost tastes like coconutty.
Is kaya
Kaya
like a
jam
fruit?
on piece of like toast with slices of solid butter. And then inside of it, they give you like a poached egg that you add a bit of soy sauce and white pepper to it. And then you use the twist to mix up the egg mixture. And you like dip the toast in the egg.
Is kaya a fruit?
Oh, it's a coconut jam.
Okay.
It is a jam made from base of coconut milk, eggs, and sugar. Like paired with the eggs.
Before you go on, let's take a break.
Okay.
And we're back.
And we're back after that anticlimactic going to break message.
We're easing ourselves back into it. It's been a really long time since we recorded together, and I don't think we've spoken to each other.
What do you mean?
Like we've
Well, I guess
texted
that's
back
true.
and
I've been
forth.
texting you and you ignore my text. So
I text you back, and I also send you a lot of TikToks.
we do.
We like communicate in TikToks now.
Basically.
And you know how we know it's true friendship? I actually watched the ones that you sent.
Actually, not only I watch the ones you send me, I comment back.
Yeah, I comment back too. Mm-hmm.
That is a friend.
That is true friendship. We got all the listeners being like, "Damn, I don't." There's so many TikToks from like some other people that I'm just like so behind on.
Oh yeah. Oh, like, do you have friends that just sends you like an endless amount of TikToks and then you log on and like
Oh,
there's like 20 videos from them and I'm like,
I don't have 20 minutes. I
and
do
then
not
some are
have
just
20
like
minutes.
really really stupid. Like,
Yes,
like why'd
yes,
you send me a TikTok of like a kid sneezing?
yes, and like also, but then inevitably, like you try to participate and you send them one, and they're like, "I sent that to you like last week," and then you feel like a bad friend. Which admittedly, yes, bad friend. But it's just
But
like
this is why
don't make
people
it
hate
work.
us.
Right.
And we
I
wonder
did
why
send
we
you
have no
one.
friends.
I did send you one of like New York Times's best LA restaurants. I wanted to get your thoughts on that one. I'm like,
Uh, it was only like 3 restaurants.
have you been to Perilla?
I have not. But
Look,
actually, after you
got
sent me the TikTok, I read like an article on like a Korean like portal saying like
Mhm.
a Korean restaurant was just chosen as like the best restaurant in LA, and it was like referencing that.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's really cool. But I've not been to Perilla.
I mean, I don't know why they would make it sound like they'd be surprised. Like,
No, right?
I mean, the best restaurant in New York right now is Korean.
You know, it's so cool because I feel like
I'm
no
talking
one
about
knew about
anime.
Korea. You know, like when I was
Yeah,
like growing up, no one knew anything
yeah,
about Korean cuisine.
yeah. But now
Um,
it's, yeah, it had such a big coming. Well, and it makes so much sense too, as somebody who, like, admittedly, I've only really started enjoying Korean food the past like few years. I've been able to see you regularly in LA, and it's
mhm.
like a joyful cuisine. It's so much, you can tell the people who cook that food love to eat.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
that's like unique, not uniquely Korean, but it's like, it's a pretty unique quality to have.
I think Korean cuisine is just like by default, it's just designed for people that love to try things because like an average Korean like food comes with at least like 3 different side dishes.
Um,
And Koreans just love like tasting different flavors and textures and ingredients.
and then, yep, agreed, agreed. Hoping one day I get to eat at Atomix. And now Perilla.
Well, you could come back to LA.
I will be in LA. I'll be in LA during my tour.
Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm.
uh,
Hmm.
seems like a nice place for you to take me while I'm on this whirlwind tour across the country. Yeah,
Although they're at a, I did look up a Perla after you sent me that.
yeah.
They're in a area where parking is like so hard, but we'll make it work.
K-Town?
No, it's not Cape Town. It's like Silver
Uh,
Lakey.
oh, Silver Lake. Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll get an Uber.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just alive.
Yes, yes, yes.
I mean, I hope. I wonder if like their business is like booming now since that article came out.
I'm sure they would be. Like it's still like, even though it's like New York Times commenting on like LA food, it's still like their food section is still pretty well respected throughout the country. It's like one of the last things that I'm willing to the New York Times. Like their coverage of anything that deals with trans people, it just makes me fucking gag.
And let's not spiral into politics.
Sorry. Yes, it's true. Okay, not going into that dark place.
The moment we start talking about it, we'll spiral. So
Yeah, I know, but be better, New York Times. I know you're not listening, but in case you are,
yes, New York Times zooming in our little podcast.
you're
Like these two Asian ass motherfuckers.
right. We just put him on the cover of the food section. Which my
Wow.
book was. They gave me a little mention on the cover of
Oh,
yeah. It wasn't the main thing, but I was there with Korean vegan and the guy who bakes like retro cakes.
nice.
Yeah, yeah.
And for listeners out there, if you're listening, you should go pre-order John's book because, well, John is
He
very
needs it.
poor.
He needs it at this point.
And also, ordering a pre-sale actually like helps out the person a lot.
Yeah, so how it works is New York Times and a lot of bestseller lists judge your book sales by the week. So every week and stuff. But if you pre-order the book, all the pre-orders leading up to the first week count in the first week. So it's like my best shot to make a bestseller list is in the first week with pre-orders and stuff. And pre-orders gets you a little special gift. So you should do it.
Let's get John in the top 10.
Yeah. And then we can rally. And then you don't have to buy another book until Kim comes out with hers.
um, but I'm very excited for your book. I'm very happy for you. Tell me all the cities you're hitting with the book tour.
So it's going to start in New York. Both Manhattan and Brooklyn are stops. And then we go to San Francisco. And then we go to LA. And then we go to Chicago. And then we do a homecoming back in Detroit.
No southern places.
I know. It wasn't me that made the stops for the tour. I really wanted Atlanta and New Orleans in there, but yeah, the publisher determined which cities I got to go to, and so those are the cities I'm gonna go to. I would like to in the spring or summer, probably like maybe late summer, early fall next year. Do like a mini tour that explores like, smaller places like P-Town or Philly and then Atlanta and then New Orleans, like just like a East Coast to down thing. But yeah, as of right now, yeah, those major cities are the ones that I'm hitting.
Cool.
And then
Have you like released the dates anywhere?
no, because I don't have the exact schedule yet, but there are some really interesting places that I get to go. I can't really say which ones yet because they haven't been solidified.
What about the book tour? Have you like announced the dates for the book tour?
That's what I meant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, stay tuned, everybody. We'll probably talk
Stay
about it here in the
tuned.
podcast when the dates are finalized.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
That'll
can't
be
wait
great.
to show up to the LA book signing.
Oh my God.
And I do have an audience question. I hope I get selected.
Oh no. What are you gonna ask?
Oh, nothing out of the ordinary.
Oh God, no. You little chaos demon.
What chaos? You know I'm a supportive friend.
Yeah. Well, my LA speaking partner is gonna be Korean vegan, so be on your best behavior.
As if like she's like some kind of like narc.
No, she's not a narc.
Like is she gonna like come slap me if I don't? Like,
She's like our big. She gives like big sister vibes all the time, even though she's only a couple years. Well, a couple years old. You're still my big sister.
I would never
but-
do anything that would embarrass you.
God, I wish this was a video podcast right now so people could see your.
What about my face? What's wrong with my face?
Well, while you were any other places in Asia that you were having fun in?
I mean, we just did those 3 cities, so
Okay,
it was like a
okay.
smaller Asian tour.
Sorry, that was my tea.
Yeah, I wish we could have gone to like Hong Kong,
Yeah.
and then maybe Thailand and Korea, but it just wasn't in the schedule this time.
That was a very light Asian tour.
Yeah,
Japan, Taiwan, Manila.
no, not Manila.
Well, it was. Manila was scheduled, but it just didn't happen.
Yeah, only 4 cities, and I'm like, the fuck?
Yeah.
I think it's like because like in the previous tour, when we visited Asia, it
Uh-huh.
was literally right as COVID was starting. So like like not a lot of people like attended, but which like rightfully so in Korea, like everything was already like half shut down already.
Right, but like you can't base attendance off of COVID numbers.
No, like seriously, like I feel like if you were, and on top of like I guess like Drag Race is so like oversaturated now too.
No, 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 no. Give me your
You
thoughts
know,
on that.
no, I mean like I'm happy for like each countries to have their like own version of like Drag Race
No,
and
no,
drag becoming like popular everywhere. Like that's
no,
good
no, no, no.
overall. Um, from like a business perspective on like a tour, like mostly like American drag queens,
Like, do you think like there's like
like
less of a need for like
I
a world tour now that drag is
like
like more of a
it's
local
not as
thing?
like special anymore, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
especially in places like where they're like on Drag Race,
yeah.
like because before there
And
was
like
only
Thailand
American
throws
Drag
down
Race,
too.
and then these drag queens were like the only ones that people knew. But
Right.
now there's literally like thousands of like drag queens that's been on TV. Again,
No,
which
no,
that's
no.
great. Like it's amazing. Like more exposure for like, queer artists.
No, no, no.
Um but yeah, I don't know if like a tour is like as profitable as it like once were.
That makes sense.
But again, I can't speak on that because I don't know any of like the numbers or anything.
Right.
But you can definitely like tell like the vibe is like a little bit different now because before like there were some like diehard fans, um, like that would like stalk the queens and like follow them like city to city. But like a lot of that has like chilled out now.
Yeah, I see that.
That's that. But again, I'm very happy for more exposure for queer artists. Like the better for like everyone around.
Of course. Of course.
It's not. It feels like a little less like these select people take all the money in the pot, but it's more like spread the wealth all around.
Yeah, and that's always better.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And that's on that. What have you done? I've noticed that you've been making a lot of tomato sandwiches.
Yes.
How many like
So,
different versions of tomato sandwiches have you made?
so I have been doing one a day, almost one a day for the past like 2.5 3 weeks.
Oh my God, yeah. I can't log onto social media without getting slapped in the face with a tomato.
Yeah, pretty much. I went into this because I wanted to do something easy and I wanted to do something fun and something that was like just just kind of like dumb or whatever. And so
Hmm.
I was like, I'm gonna make a tomato sandwich every day until the season is over. I thought the season only there was only a week left in the season, but and I talked to my like farmer friend about this. I was like, okay, well, the world's getting hotter, and one of the effects is tomato season in Michigan, which used to end in like late August, early September, now goes into almost October. So
Dang.
I had really, really good tomatoes up until this is the last week, and I just finished filming the last one, and it was delicious, and I got to try stuff. And like tomato sandwich is like yes, the classic tomato sandwich is delicious,
Hmm.
but it's still just bread and a tomato and mayonnaise and salt and pepper. So playing around with it didn't seem like such a big deal to me. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna make curry mayo today. I'm gonna make a laksa mayo today, and I'm gonna make a pesto mayo. Like just trying different variations. Like I still had some comments being like, oh, the best one is just like the pure and simple one. I was like, yeah, it's good, but it's still fucking bread and a tomato.
We're
So
trying to
why not
reinvent
play
the classic here. Hello.
I'm not trying to I'm not even trying to do reinvent the classic. I'm just like, if your ingredients aren't that expensive, why not have fun with it?
Okay, hear me out.
Okay, I'm listening.
For the next one, can you do a fried green tomato sandwich?
But the season's over. It's already cold. Yeah. Maybe. Well, next year. Next year I'll
You
do fried
mean
green tomatoes.
I missed the rest of the tomato season touring?
It's the season is longer in California.
Oh, you're right. Maybe you
Did
should
you
move to
say that
California.
just so I had to mention the fact that like California? Well, you're going to New York tomorrow, so you better get some tomatoes, girl.
Yeah, just me buying tomatoes right before I get on my flight.
Right. Apparently, it's cold. It's chilly in New York right now. People were saying it was like 50 degrees. It's colder there than it is in Detroit.
Oh my god. I forgot what it was like to be cold.
Oh yeah, because
I feel
you're
like
in
I've been
Asia.
like hot
Hot
and
and humid
sweating like
time.
for so
Yeah.
long.
Yeah.
I miss the cold.
It's so nice. You know what I've admired every time I stay over at your house? That Telfar wool poncho. Do
Hmm.
they just sell that? Or do they have that every year? Or is that a limited edition thing? Because I kind of want one.
Um,
It looks so comfy.
I actually have no idea.
That thing looks comfy as AF.
Have you worn it?
No. It's never been hot enough. It's never been cold enough in LA to wear it.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't worn it myself personally because it has never
Oh,
been cold enough.
you should wear it to New York. It's cold over there now.
That's true. Yeah. All the fashions I'm gonna do while doing my gigs.
Yeah.
Yes, over for you, hoes.
Are they drag gigs or are they DJ gigs in New York or both?
Both.
Nice. That'll be. I want
Yeah.
to see you DJ someday.
You could get on a flight to LA. Oh, not LA. New York.
I
Pacific,
could.
no.
No, no, no. I was like actually like taking a glance. Sorry, I was taking a glance at my calendar, seeing if I could make it happen. Because unfortunately, you leave when I get there for tour time. But you're
Boo
there
hiss.
until when?
I'm there until. Well, let's not discuss my schedule on the podcast.
Okay. Yeah. So when are you going to
But,
be in New York? What's your address? What room number are you going to be?
uh-huh.
And what's your social security? Social
Exactly,
security.
like how long I'm staying there for,
Yeah.
all that good stuff. Yeah.
Uh,
Have you eaten anything fun recently?
I've pretty much just been eating tomato sandwiches, which is like really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I did have something the other day where I had a classic French omelet at a brunch place, and this doesn't have anything to do. Like, it was a really well done French omelet, I will say, and everything else on their menu was really, really good. So I think it's just like, I'm not really about a French omelet. Like,
Just like a plain omelet with just like cheese in it or whatever.
is like the classically done French omelet that people on TikTok like always like try work so hard to do, where it's like a little like curds in the middle and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot, but it's like it can't be scorched. It has to be like perfectly done, and it's really delicate. And I was like, that's great and all, but I kind of like an American diner omelet better. A little bit of crusty
Mm.
parts, a little bit of caramelization, or like an omelet rice with like thick sauce on it.
Okay, so that's funny that you mentioned that because I just had like an extensive conversation about eggs
Uh huh.
and how it's eaten at different places
Uh-huh.
with somebody,
Yeah,
and we were just discussing how okay, for scrambled eggs, for example,
I like mine
anywhere
wet.
else around the world makes it so soft and moist
Uh-huh.
and like, like runny.
Uh-huh.
And in America, scrambled eggs are always
Packing
cooked
foam.
like hard.
Yeah, it's packing foam.
And like when you get like scrambled eggs at like a breakfast buffet, like in other places in other countries, it's always soft and almost like a pudding.
Uh-huh.
Here, it's almost like gray and like hard chunks of it.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't mean like that. I mean like the kind of eggs, like when you get by like an omelet, like I don't know, like a Greek omelet with the feta cheese and all the vegetables in it. Like I like a loaded omelet with stuff and lots of tasty things. And generally I will ask for it a little bit underdone, like scorch the outside and leave some of the inside kind of runny.
Hmm.
But yeah, I just when it comes to like the perfectly executed French omelet, it's like it seems just a little pompous for what you get.
It's almost like you need like you want something a little bit more substance, right? Because it's always
Mm-hmm.
soft and airy, but then
And then
and that's kind of like it.
yeah,
But my problem with American omelet is I don't know why. When you like go to like an average diner and then look at like their omelet ingredients, almost every
Mhm.
single omelet has peppers in it.
I don't mind that actually.
I don't like that.
You don't like
I
peppers?
don't like that. I don't want peppers in my omelet. I like peppers. I like appreciate peppers. I love eating peppers raw. Peppers are crunchy. Peppers are
Mhm.
delicious. But for some reason, when they're cooked into the omelet,
Why don't you just
they
ask them to
don't
hold the
like
peppers?
they get really watery and they water the omelet down. And
Uh huh.
then the flavor of the pepper overwhelm every ingredient, including like bacon or ham or cheese or whatever is in. And all you taste is the peppers. And the omelet is just like hard, but then also watery from the peppers. And it just tastes like peppers. And I do not appreciate peppers in my omelet. But then if you get the omelet without the peppers, which is like most of the ingredient, you almost feel like you're not getting your money's worth because you're paying for the peppers, but they don't put in the extra of the other ingredients because you don't get peppers.
Why don't you
So I
ask?
just
You
do
could
not
ask for
understand
extra.
why. But then if you go to like a regular breakfast buffet or whatever, like they don't normally put peppers in anything. So why do they put so much peppers at the omelet in diners? I do not appreciate peppers in any way. Like get those peppers away from me. Like I'd rather just like give them to me like round the side, like cut into strips, but do not put peppers in my omelet.
I do like a grilled pepper, but I think I agree with you. I don't think I mind them quite as much because I still see them as a vegetable in there, and it's like in my mind it's healthier as a result. But if I okay, what is in your perfect omelet?
Ooh. It depends on like what I'm eating. So if I'm eating like a Korean meal, I would want my like omelet to have like mentaiko, green onion,
Mm.
um, and just like real simple ingredients. But then if
Yeah.
I'm eating like a Western style, I think I would want. Hmm. Okay, so I'd want bacon, like crispy bacon, like crumbled into like little bits, and then maybe like regular onions, but just like a little bit, or not even like regular onions, green onions. There you
Mhm.
go. So it's like less
Okay.
watery, and it has to be cheese, but it cannot be cheddar because I know like a lot of people love cheddar as like an option, but to me, when cheddar gets melty, it gets really really oily,
Yeah, I see that.
and I do not appreciate like that oily like melted oil like flavor.
That is very fair.
I like more of like a melted cheese, like a Jack, but then the flavor of Jack isn't prominent enough. Where it almost just tastes like a chewy, like string cheese, like that's been melted into the omelet. Like Swiss is nice.
Swiss is a good cheese.
I'll say, yeah, Swiss and bacon and green onions. And then with like a little like dash of hot sauce.
Listen,
Well, I'm halfway through. Like I want to enjoy the omelet like as it is. And then just like switch it up and make it more fun. Like the last half, just hit it with like a little hot sauce.
my Western omelet would be a Greek omelet with the shavings of the gyro meat.
Oh,
Yeah, I like it because
I
that's like feta cheese. I mean, you could hold the
you
peppers
know
because there are
what?
peppers in that. There
You
are
know
peppers
what?
in it. What?
You're right. Feta is the best option for an
It
omelet cheese. I didn't even
honestly,
think about that.
it honestly is. Like
You
for a
know what?
Western omelet, are you
Uh huh.
changing your answer?
Yes. Let me change my answer to spinach and feta.
Nice, very good, very
That
good
is actually a
combination.
great combination for an omelet. It is superior, undisputed. Like I cannot believe I forgot about spinach and feta.
The erasure. How dare you?
I don't know if I need like Euro meat in there, but you know, like I'm happy for you. I support you getting that Euro meat. Like if that's what you want.
As far as an Asian omelet goes, I think my favorite style would be probably. Okay, I know it seems really gimmicky, but I like a hurricane omelet.
No, it's good.
So, yeah, so long as there is plenty of raw egg on top. Like it still has to
Mm-hmm.
be like the top of it has to be completely like eggy and runny so that it can mix in with
Mm-hmm.
the rice underneath.
Mm-hmm.
And then for toppings would be green onions. And then I love like a Swedish, not Swedish as in like sweet-ish, thick soy sauce,
Mm-hmm.
like a ketchup mayonnaise, or
Mm-hmm.
I actually don't know how to pronounce that word. I've only ever read it. Is it ketchup? Manis?
Ketchup.
It's the sweet soy sauce, the Indonesian sweet soy sauce. It's spelt K, no, yeah, Kecap, but I think that's where the word ketchup from comes from. So I think you pronounce it ketchup.
I don't think I've ever had it.
You must have had it because it's the sweet soy sauce that goes in nasi goreng.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I like something along that style where it's thick and syrupy and kind of sweet and salty, and that goes on top. And then furikake.
Mm. That is a good combination.
Mm. Maybe a little like spicy thing thrown in for, but I generally like it to be a sweet and savory Asian omelet.
Mm. Even, I actually don't mind like the Japanese tamago pieces either, where it's almost like how do you describe it? Like it's almost sweet,
Tamago is sweet. I would describe it to be sweet, like a sweet and briny almost.
sweet and briny. Yeah,
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 that's a good one.
that's a good one. Also, like tamago nigiris, love, j'adore.
I like. They're practically a dessert.
They are.
Yeah, I love them. I love them so
Hmm.
much. And people, because of like Gyro gyms of sushi, like people are like, oh my god, tamago's like the hardest. A tamago that isn't great is still an enjoyable tamago.
At the end of the day, it's an egg.
Exactly. It's an
It's a
egg.
sliced
It's a
omelet.
sweet
Like
egg.
enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, I've always thought it was like really funny how like in like cooking movies or like videos, there's always like a mean chef when he wants to test you. He'll go like, "Make me an omelet."
Yes, that's the thing. I think that's where like the pretense of the French omelet comes from because it's like you can tell so much about someone in the way they make an omelet. It's like, bitch, I make
It's not
the
that
omelet in the way
serious.
that I want to eat it. It is not that serious. It is not that serious at all.
Have you ever watched the movie The 100 Foot Journey?
Helen Mirren, right?
Yeah,
Yes, I watched it with Little John. It was very sweet. It's
it is
cute.
very cute. If you haven't seen
Yeah.
it, if you haven't watched it, like you should watch it. It's a really cute movie. It's on a lot of like streaming devices. And like the food and all the food in the movie looks really, really
Looks
like it's beautifully shot.
I love though, like how the movie's pretty old, so we can do like a spoiler alert, right?
No, let's not spoil it in case the viewers do go. We're like, go watch it. But if
Yeah.
you love to
Okay.
spoil
Well,
things for people,
go
let's not
watch
spoil
it.
it. In
If
case
you haven't seen it, turn off the podcast because we have to go anyway. But I love how like
wait,
at the
spoiler
end,
alert. This is like
what-
a good point to turn it off. Okay,
this
anyways,
is yeah. Okay,
if
bye.
you're gonna watch the movie.
So like I love how like at the end of it they were acting as if like the most commonplace South Asian ingredients in the news. Like you know how like when that guy was like, oh, he's like kind of like he actually turned into more of like a Gagan type modernist Indian
To me, like
cuisine
okay, the
chef.
ending got a little weird. I was like, it
It-
started off so good,
It did. It
and
did.
then all of a
but then
sudden,
they're like, using crazy flavors like from cumin and star anise and all that. I was like, that was just Asian spices. Like you're acting like it was just the most crazy thing in the world that this guy just uses the flavors that are
It's
available.
almost as if like the entire movie was shot by one person, but like
Yep.
then like the last 15 minutes, like some tech bro took over as like a director,
Yes. Yeah.
and like the tone of the movie and like the whole soul of the movie just completely changed.
It did. It did. It's like two
And,
movies in one.
And I was like, wait, what? Why is he getting into like gastronomy?
Yeah. French countryside, and then all of a sudden you're in like future. So I didn't know if it was like based off of Gagan, which is the guy, the Indian chef in Singapore that studied at the French Laundry or Alenia. So he made like modernist Indian food. I thought, I was like, well, is this about that guy? Because kind of, but it still seemed like it came from nowhere
Mm-hmm.
because he like trained in this cute little French cottage that was a really
Yeah.
good restaurant, but all of a sudden, and then now he's using like science tools. Like, where's the
But
connection?
anyways, I brought up this movie because the whole thing is, like before he goes to work for like the French lady,
Yeah.
and she's like cook me an omelet,
Oh
you know?
that's right.
And then there's like a scene where like he's burned his hands and he can't use them. So then he like tells her like how to cook an omelet.
Yeah.
Do you remember that scene?
Kind of. It's been a while. We should do a reaction, a watch for that.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Oh, we should do a live
But
watch.
anyways, yeah, I feel like this is like the movie that I think of when I think of like a French omelet.
Yeah, me too. Actually, yes, me too. But that is our time.
John is over this shit.
I sound like a therapist every time I say that. That's our time.
Literally. I'm like, I want to talk more, but I guess well,
Save it
we'll
for the
save
next
another day
podcast.
because John is over this shit.
Save it for the next podcast. My ADHD is kicking in.
All right, you go off and do things. If you like our podcast, you should go follow us on Instagram. The link is in the bio.
It will be.
That John actually updated.
I did.
Thank
I
you,
did
John, for
stuff.
being useful.
For
always.
doing your job. I'm always useful. I'm super responsible.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Bye.